Aloha everyone, welcome to Lion Arboretum's Spice Hill. I'm Hadley Anderson, the education specialist here, and with me today is Jesse Adams. He is our research support for our grounds and collections department, as well as a botanic gardener. And he's going to take us through a little bit of some of the interesting plants here on our Spice Hill. So Jesse, what are we talking about today?
Okay, so we have a variety of plants here. I really want to focus on secondary plant metabolites or secondary defense compounds. And those are just the chemicals in plants that, make them taste good when we add them to our food or give you that little extra bing when you have caffeine.
Ooh.
So a great example of caffeine here in the Urban Spice Garden is camellia. This is going to be your TEA plant. And we were talking earlier, there's a great podcast out there that was sharing some facts about caffeine, and they're concentrated in the new growth. And this is to deter herbivores or insects from eating the plant. So, cow might get a headache if it eats this, or get really jittery or something.
It's a defense mechanism for the nice, tender, tiny leaves, and especially like the new growth, right? So the caffeine tends to be concentrated more in those new leaves, which is why if you do any kind of drying of green tea or anything like that, they usually, or white tea, they take the tiniest of the leaves. So that's going to have the most caffeine, and also in some of the seeds as well, they're going to have that, which is why we get caffeine from chocolate as well. We don't have it in our Spice Hill chocolate up here.
We do not
yet,
no.
but that's one of our great, what did you call those, metabolites?
Secondary plant metabolites or secondary defense compounds.
Awesome. Okay, cool. What's another one?
Another one we're all probably familiar with is peppers right here. This is Solanaceae. This is going to be your tomatoes, your peppers, other things in that plant family. They're really characteristic flowers if you want to check it out. But yeah, here it's all capsaicin, which is that hot, peppery flavor / sensation in your mouth when you eat these guys. And the capsaicin is usually concentrated around the seeds or around this connective tissue, that center part of the pepper. And that's once again to prevent mammals from eating peppers. Birds don't have capsaicin receptors. So if you're on the mainland, and you put a little cayenne pepper in your bird feeder, keeps the squirrels away, but your birds can still eat the seed.
It's a great life hack for the
Totally.
As opposed to making contraptions to, get rid of the squirrels or anything like that.
Right. So another one we're going to talk about is Zingiberaceae. Really fun to say, and that's found in the Zingiberaceae. That's going to be your ginger family. So you're going to have your edible gingers that are in there. You're also going to have your turmerics, curcuma, that's in that family as well. And in this case, the Zingiberaceae is centered in the roots, the rhizome, which is an underground stem. So we're going to kind of peel that back. Has a little bit of a smell to it. You can kind of smell it through the mask. But when you're looking at the ginger, this whole structure is actually the leaf, and then the stem is going to be these rhizomes, and then these are the roots coming off. So another plant family that we have a lot of in Urban Spice is Rutaceae. That's your orange family. So here we have some kaffir lime leaves, and then these are Xanthoxylum beechianum. This is your Szechuan pepper. So if we look real closely at the bottom, you're going to see all these little pinhole dots. And those are called pellucid dots, and they're just areas where the plant has concentrated essential oils. So it's going to be that really citrusy smell. So you might think of kaffir lime when you have curries.
You see those little dots right there?
Maybe barely.
Hold on. Here we go. I can zoom in even further. Oh, look at that.
Whoa.
That's on the back of those leaves.
That's pretty impressive.
And they're called pellucid dots?
Pellucid dots. Other plant families that have pellucid dots are Lauraceae, so bay leaves. That's why, you can put bay leaves in soup and whatnot as you're extracting that essential oil. Other things would be like avocados. Avocado trees will have pellucid dots in the leaves as well. But yeah, I really just like to crush these up and smell them.
They smell so good.
Yeah, through the mask. Good stuff. Cool. Right on. So moving along, pick up the plants. We'll head this way. So usually when you think of herbs and spices, a lot of those are going to be Lamiaceae, which is your mint family. So basil is actually a type of mint. If you look real close, it has that characteristic square stem. And then we're looking at the leaves and we notice there's all these hairs on the leaves. Botanical term for hairs is trichomes. They come in all different shapes and sizes. Sometimes they can be like prickles on leaves. Or if you're familiar with sundews, if you're into carnivorous plants like Tim, those sundews, those are actually glandular trichomes. So they just have a sticky substance at the end that helps them to catch insects. Here, those secondary defense compounds or secondary plant metabolites are concentrated in the trichomes. So they're warding off insect pests and helping our food to taste real good.
And you said that this was a basil plant?
Yep, this is basil. This is holy basil, where they're really concentrated, lots of hairs on here, really fuzzy. And then we have an anise basil over here, not as concentrated.
So Jesse, I have a question.
Yes.
How are the glandular release of the smells versus the trichome release of the smells? What kind of defense? How different is that? Obviously, they might defend against different things. But can I ask you that right off the cuff?
Sure. So the glandular is going to be more for the plant trying to capture things. So if it's like a low nitrogen environment, like a bog or a swamp, they're going to use that glandular, that sticky glandular trichomes, to catch insects, so they get the nitrogen from the insects.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then for these guys, it's going to be more for warding off insect pests. Other things that hairs or trichomes do is they actually prevent the plant from overheating.
Oh.
So like really silvery plants, like your silver swords, other plants like that, those trichomes are actually reflecting light away from the plant.
Huh.
So if you ever notice in really dry climates, they're often, plants are quite hairy or fuzzy, kind of a silvery sheen. That's what's going on with that.
Oh, cool. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So,
Cool. So we'll come over here just to touch briefly on edible flowers. So everybody probably recognizes this as a begonia. The flowers are edible in all species of begonias. They have a really tart flavor to them, packed with vitamin C. Really good to eat, but great to have on your salad. There's not a whole lot of edible flowers out there. So begonias, excuse me, some violets are edible. And then nasturtiums, which we have some nasturtiums over there, are also edible as well. But, great things to have in your salad. I certainly would not eat these hot. I don't think they taste good. Cool. So I'll head back up that way. All right. We're just going to check out the Culantro here really fast. This one is interesting because you think of Culantro, it's going to be in pho or a lot of Vietnamese or Southeast Asian dishes. And Culantro is actually native to the Americas. So it's real interesting. When Europeans first started using spices, they were going to Southeast Asia, India to get these spices. So it's kind of a reverse of the spice trade. And as you know, like spices have shaped so much of our history. So I'd be interested to find out what the backstory on this is, how this got into Southeast Asian cuisine. Cool.
Is it related to cilantro?
I don't think it's related to cilantro. I think it's a different one.
Thank you.
I think the common names sometimes are misnomers, right?
Correct, yeah. Perfect. So you have our patchouli over here. If you're familiar with patchouli oil, that's where that's coming from.
If you lightly touch the leaf, and you can definitely smell it through your mask.
I can smell it from here.
So these are nasturtiums. We just planted them, so they're not flowering yet, but just to give you an idea of what they look like. Cool. And then this is a pineapple sage, so it does have a bit of a mild kind of pineapple smell to it. And then a new plant for me that I really like is this limeberry right here. It's also Rutaceae, so it's going to have those pellucid dots in the leaves. And then also, if you have an orange tree in your yard, you're going to know lots of Rutaceae also have thorns, so do be careful when you're handling them. I guess I should say spines rather.
Didn't you
Okay.
say that this can be made into a pie?
It can. So what you're going to use is the fruits right here. And the fruits have a really nice, mild, sweet flavor to them, like limes. So yeah, make excellent tarts. And here we have these are all different types of turmerics. So we have a blue turmeric, where the rhizome actually turns blue when exposed to oxygen. I don't know if it's an oxidation thing or what's going on. And then we have your normal kind of golden turmeric and whatnot. So some differences, the blue turmerics, the leaves are going to have this effervescent kind of purple cloud on them. And then your normal turmerics are just going to have a nice green leaf. Cool. And our turmerics and our gingers are kind of on their way out. Turmerics and gingers are deciduous. So just like trees, they're going to lose their leaves. And that's really when you want to harvest your gingers, is when they lose their leaves. Then you can dig them up. So that's what's going on here. If things aren't looking too good, they're on their way to resting for the winter, as it were. So yeah, other things, I guess the last plant we could cover is this, what is this? This is Marantaceae. It's arrowroot. So Maranta. And arrowroot can be used as like a thickening agent. It's a really good starch. But once again, you're going to use the rhizomes for that as well.
And then we've got another kaffir lime, and we do have exciting news that we will be opening up on October 5th, so that's Monday. You can visit our website and check out our Eventbrite. Our website is manoa.hawaii.edu/lion. And of course, keep an eye on our Facebook and our Instagram accounts for any other information that might pop up too. We are still looking for volunteers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're going stir crazy, sitting at home, you want to get outside, get your hands in the dirt, do something, please do go to the Arboretum website, look under the volunteer tab, and then you can sign up for the Urban Spice Volunteer. We will all be wearing masks and observing social distancing protocols. We'll be outside, so yeah, we'd love to have people come up here, help me out in the garden, weeding, planting, fertilizing, watering, eating things, whatever you want to do.
Well,
we'll have you. Maybe not eating everything, but eating some things.
This is a great place to volunteer, especially if you want to be outdoors, and also if you don't happen to have a garden of your own. However, if you can't make it up to volunteer and you can't make it up to visit, please do check out our website, because on our gardens and features, we will have a virtual tour of Spice Hill up there. It's actually pretty kid friendly too. You can explore. It's good for easy readers and things like that. So you can learn a little bit more about the plants. And even if you've been here before and wanted to know what a certain plant was and wandered around a little bit, we have more information on that virtual tour as well. So visit our website. We'll see you next time. And thank you, Jesse, so much for joining us.
Hey, thank you for having me.
And oh, yeah.